And she's like, wow, not even a hello? Like, okay, Victor. Classic Victor. Guys, what am I going to do when I get to Victor's route? Like, I'm really going to need to find kindness in my heart. I'm actually really scared. Hello. I'm back. It's been a while. As you can see, the setup, upgrade, I think. Trying something new. Maybe it'll be worse, maybe it'll be better. Time will tell. I am currently on a break from finals. I've been studying every day, losing my mind. And then when I come home at my cutoff study time is 8 p.m. Anytime after 8 p.m., I won't be opening a book. And that's when I open my Switch and I play Wintertide Miracles. Just wait till I get to that one, guys. I don't even know what to say about it. Particularly Victor's outfit is a crime against humanity that needs to be studied. But anyway, I digress. That game has been putting me back in the Code Realize mindset, and I have this 9-day break between finals, so I was like, why not revisit my YouTube career? It's really blowing up, and so I need to keep my fans happy and satiated. So here you go. So perhaps a little recap is in order, I think. I think it is. For me as well. I won't go into full detail. I know we all remember, surely, and if you don't remember, go back and watch the first one. Take 2 hours out of your day and refresh your mind. If you will recall from the first game, we play as Cardia, the beautiful, kind, gentle-hearted, free-spirited, brave, generous Cardia. You know, she's a lot like other girls in many ways, but in one way, she is quite different. And that is in regards to the horologium. You know it, you love it, you remember it. And this gem has many effects, but the main one that we know about that has plagued our existence since we've been alive is that it sends a deadly poison running through our veins, okay? And this poison makes it so no one can touch us unless they want their hands burned off, okay? And in the case of dogs, their faces will burn off, okay? So makes it very difficult for us to find love, right? So we think ourselves a monster, you know, we're living alone in Wales, till one day we are rescued by the great gentleman thief Arsène Lupin and his crew. We go on all these madcap adventures, you know, we're trying to find out the truth of our father, our creator, Isaac Beckford. If you remember this faceless gentleman. I actually discovered, guys, in the second game they show his face, and unfortunately he's super hot. I know, we love to hate him, but he was actually attractive the whole time, so something to keep in your mind. Attractiveness does not necessarily correlate to good, okay? A life lesson for us all. Anyway, we're on a journey to find out the truth of our father, Isaac Beckford, great inventor, modern Prometheus, has invented basically everything in the world, okay? We remember it well. We find out that we are not human. We are in fact a homunculus created by Isaac in order to be able to house this gem. Okay, so that has really thrown us into an existential crisis. We think we're a monster, you know, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to go into that again, but basically there are 5 potential love interests: Arsène Lupin, IMPEY'S Barbicane, Victor Frankenstein, Abraham Van Helsing, and Count Saint Germain. We have spent time with them throughout the course of the common route. All 8 chapters. It's been a while we've spent with them. But now here today, we come upon the route of perhaps the best, my personal favorite, and I'm sure yours as well, if you have any sense of IMPEY'S Barbicane. Okay, sweet, unproblematic IMPEY. I'm gonna put him right next to us, where he belongs. I don't think a more in-depth recap would do us any good, because it would literally take all day. There's so much that happens, okay? So just revisit the first video if you really want to know, okay? Basically where we left off, chapter 8. We've just gotten back from Isaac's underground laboratory, okay? We've been through hell and back, okay? We saw our own brother get murdered at the hands of Count Saint Germain. You know, it happens. And now we have returned to Count Saint Germain's mansion, where we've been moping, lurking, whatever, blah, 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 crying around. And we've decided that we're gonna leave. Okay, we're gonna get out of here because we're a burden to everyone else. We're a monster, and we don't want to drag them down any more than we already have. Okay, so we make up our mind, we're leaving, we're out of here. Now, just a few specifics to IMPEY'S route. As I mentioned in the previous video, the game does diverge a little bit in chapter 8. For IMPEY'S route specifically, when you're down in the laboratory, depending on whose route you ultimately end up on, you go with them to do some research. So in that little section, we went with Impey into a room with a bunch of files. And while we were in there searching around through the papers, we found an article about someone you may recall. That someone is Nemo. Now, perhaps a little refresher on Nemo. Put him up there by his babe. We encountered him at the Black Gathering airship race. Okay, remember that was the airship race that we needed to win in order to get information about Isaac. And we did win it. But Nemo was our competitor and he like almost shot us down in the sky. He's like a crazy scientist, okay? Anyway, while we're in the research lab, we discover an article about Nemo. We're like, we've seen this man before. Like, what's going on here? The title is Impressions on Nautilus Development. I don't know if you have heard the name Captain Nemo before, but if you have and you know what book it's from, the word Nautilus might be triggering something for you, okay? So just keep that in mind. Captain Nemo, Nautilus Development. However, a bunch of the article is like torn away and like obscured, so we're not able to read it. But what this does tell us is that Isaac and Nemo, there's a connection there. Okay, they know each other. Somehow their research is connected. Okay, so we know that Nemo could be key to learning more about Isaac. Anyway, back to the house. We've just packed up because we're a burden to everyone. Okay, we're leaving. We make it all the way out to the gate of the house. We like look back for one last look to say goodbye to the men who showed us love and taught us how to be human, when suddenly someone comes out to stop us. And B comes out to the gate and he is like, hey girl, like kind of late to be out like cruising around. Like, are you out to find Nemo? Oh, like very perceptive of you, MB. Of course, like he's very smart. And he's like, yeah, like I know Nemo, we discovered earlier he might be connected to Isaac. Like, are you looking for him to get more information? And we're like, actually, yeah, that is what we were doing. Like, how did you know? And he's like, okay, sick, no worries. Like, I'll come with you. And we're like, okay, babe, like the whole point of us doing that is that we're a monster and we don't want to burden you anymore. You and your friends, like we're a danger to you. Like, what do you not understand? And he's like, no, like it doesn't matter if you're a danger to me. That doesn't matter to me. Like, I would risk anything to go with you. And besides, like I have my own business with Nemo as well. Regarding, if you'll recall, Impey's main like goal throughout this game has been that he's looking for something that was stolen from him. Okay, we don't know what it is, but he's looking for it. And he's like, yeah, I think Nemo might have some information on that thing I'm looking for. So, like, I'm totally down to just go with you. Like, that's fine. And we're like, great. Like, obviously, we're a little, like, distraught about it because he's kind of ruining, like, the whole point of us, like, leaving. But we love him. So, like, we're happy to have him around. And so he leaves a note for Lupin. And he's like, we're embarking on a journey of love. Like, and it's going to be great. And he takes our hand and he leads us away. And that kind of closes up the prologue and the 8 chapters. That's the end of chapter 8. And we now enter Impey's route, chapter 9. So chapter 9, we're in an automobile, okay? Us and Impey. Impey's driving, of course. And we're going through the fields, you know, chatting it up. He's like flirting with us. He's such a flirt. Impey says he knows a place where we can find information about Nemo. He doesn't really tell us, but that's where we're headed. Anyway, we roll up and we're at the docks where the Black Gathering was, okay? The airship race. And it's like in shambles from where we crashed our airship, if you'll recall. So they're like rebuilding everything. But Impey had a really smart idea. And he's like, when you register for the Black Gathering, you have to give them your address. So they definitely have Nemo's address. And like, I'm sure they'll give it to us, like with our charm, like without a doubt. And so we show up and like all these mafia guys are there. Because if you remember, the Black Gathering is run by like the mafia and the criminal underworld. And they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, you're the famous winners who won the race. Like, good to see you again. We're like, yeah, hey, like, hey. And Impey's like, yeah, like, and we're looking for the address of someone. So, like, surely you can, like, help out the winners, right? Like, we're kind of famous around here. And they're like, yeah, like, we love you guys, but we don't just give out the addresses for free. Like, even though we're criminals, like, we do still have some kind of, like, moral code. Impey's like, no worries. Like, do you guys take, like, other Like, can we sweeten the deal somehow? Clever thinking, because they're like, oh, like, yeah, of course. Like, our moral code's not that strong. Like, fork over the cash. And he's like, no worries. Like, just send the bill to our son Lupin. Classic. And they're like, haha, like, for sure, for sure. But actually, like, we'll give you the info for free, like, if you hand over this beautiful lady. Impey's like, no thanks. Like, thanks, but no thanks. Actually, I wouldn't give her up for any of the treasures in the world, and, like, we're soulmates. Like, thank you for looking out for us. Like, finally someone. And so then the mafia bosses are like, okay, like, no worries. Like, we'll give you the address. So we do, and then we set off. So we're driving. We're back in the car. And suddenly, Impey takes, like, a sharp turn off the side of the road into the forest. We're like, what are you doing? Like, you're driving like a maniac. And he's like, oh my gosh, look. Points to the sky. There's an airship. Okay? And not just any airship. This airship belongs to the Sky Pirates. Now, if you will remember from the Black Gathering chapter, the Sky Pirates all hate Impey because the airship that we raced in to win the Black Gathering was stolen from the Sky Pirates. Now, it was stolen by Lupin, but through a bunch of, like, miscommunications, like, haha, whatever, they're convinced that Impey was the one who stole it, and so they're, like, out to get Impey, like, they hate him. So he's like, yeah, we have to get off the road, like, we can't risk, like, getting seen by the Sky Pirates. However, in the forest, we see smoke coming from where the airship just left from. So clearly we're like, somebody's hurt, like they just attacked someone. So we go to investigate. So we follow the smoke all the way back to this cave. It's like really sketch looking, and like smoke is like coming out, like this black smoke. And then suddenly, who should come out of the cave? Nemo. So this all worked out in our favor, like we made it to Nemo's place. But he's, like, being crazy. He has this, like, giant gun. He's, like, shooting it at us. Like, he shoots out this, like, black smoke. So, like, he's the one, like, causing the smoke. But luckily, like, Impey blocks the shot and shields us, like the true man that he is. So we're safe. At first, he doesn't recognize us. He's, like, babbling about, like, us being enemies of science. And Impey's like, no, like, I love science. And then he's like, oh my gosh, like, Impey, like, how could I forget you? Like, you guys are from the Black Gathering. Like, what's going on? And we're like, not much, like, just being shot at by you. And he's like, well, you guys, like, my lab was just robbed by those pirates. And not only that, they took my most prized possession. And this is my most, like, incredible invention. Like, it could change the course of history. Like, I need this back. Like, I can't tell you what it is, but like, just like imagine that it would change the world. And Impey's like, you know what, man, like, I understand that because like also my prized possession and best invention was stolen. We can help you get it back. And then Nemo starts like crying. He's like so thankful. He's like, you're the actual best, Impey. Like, thank you so much. And he gives us this tracking device. Okay, here we have another insane invention. One thing about Code Realize is they're insane inventions. Basically, that gun he was shooting out earlier, the smoke has like magnetic particles. And when you shoot it at someone and they like attach to the person, the tracking device can like track the particles. That one was like a bit too much of a stretch for me, but regardless, he gives us this tracking device and he's like, you hit like, go forth and save my invention. So I guess we're just doing that like to be nice, like out of the goodness of our hearts. Like, okay. So we're like, stay behind, Nemo, because this is gonna be a stealth mission and you talk so loudly that like it would be impossible for us to get anything done with you there. So they like hug it out. We're watching like, oh, okay. And then we set back off to London, where we just left from, to help out Nemo. So we show up to the poor part of town. If you guys remember, we frequent guests at the poor part of town. We show up to the Sky Pirates' lair, and we're like kind of waiting outside. And Nemo, like, still, he never told us what this invention does, but we know that it's like a small black triangle with like flashing lights on it. That's all we know. So Impey goes up to the Sky Pirates' lair. There's like some pirates like guarding the door, and he's like, hey, like, do you remember me? Like, I'm the one who stole your airship. And the guy's like, of course I remember you, like, you're public enemy number one. And he pulls out a knife. But we have been taught well by Abraham Van Helsing, okay? And we sneak up behind the guy. We deck him. Lights out. And then we're like, okay, like, let's drag him into the alley and like tie him up, like, and we'll be good to go. And Impey's like, girl, I'm a little scared right now. Like, you're a little too good and too into this like conflict. what can we say? Like, we've had the best teachers, so it is what it is. We really excel at what we do. So we break into the warehouse, okay? And it's like an abandoned factory kind of vibe, and all the pirates are just like kind of hanging around chatting. We're like, okay, this shouldn't be too hard. Like, they don't really seem on high alert. So we're able to like sneak in there and kind of like hide behind like a crate or something. Like, they don't notice us enter. And they're like chatting it up, and they kind of reveal like where the treasure is hidden. While they're talking about it, they like point to it. And so Impey is like, okay, I'm gonna stealth over there and like snatch it while they're not looking. So he starts to head over, okay, and he's like reaching out for the treasure. Like, he's about to grab it when suddenly like they reach for the treasure. So he has to like retract his hand, but he's able. Like, they don't find him. Like, everything's fine. Don't worry, guys. And then they open the box to reveal the black pyramid thing. And they're like, I don't know what the hell this is, but like that Nemo guy really was obsessed with it, so like it must be important. I don't know. And Impey's like, okay, like now's the time. Like, they put it down, like he's ready to grab it, when suddenly there's like a huge explosion outside. We're like, what is going on? Like, that wasn't our doing. And like, who shows up? I'll give you one guess. I'm sure you guessed it. Nemo shows up, and he's like making a spectacle of himself, showboating. He's like, in the name of science, like, I have come to get my prized possession back, and you are gonna be sorry for what you have done. And not only that, guys, my accomplices are in your warehouse right now. Like, that's how dumb you are. And Impey comes out. He's like, dude, like, way to blow the cover. But Nemo, like, doesn't even care. He's, like, too into his own thing. He pulls out some bombs. He's like, get ready, guys, and, like, blows the place up. Like, he's just going insane. And the pirates are, like, it's, like, full chaos, okay? Like, the pirates are attacking. There's smoke everywhere from his bombs. Like, luckily we're unharmed, most important thing. But while the explosion was going off, Impey shielded us again. Like, he's such a gentleman. And like, we make a comment, we're like, we can feel like how strong he is. Like, Impey's like ripped, so we're not mad about it. But unfortunately, in the explosion, Nemo has knocked himself out. So Impey's like, great, like, here you go, we managed to snag the box with the treasure. He hands it to us, so we hold it. And he's like, okay, like, this might be uncomfortable, but like, it has to be done. We're like, what? Like, what has to be done? Suddenly, he, like, picks us up in one arm, grabs Nemo in the other, and just, like, books it out of there. It's, like, crazy. And he manages to carry us out and run into an alley. And we think we're safe, but unfortunately, more pirates showed up, like, story of our lives. But we, like, somehow think we're, like, this combat genius. Like, we're good at it, but I don't know why we are, like, convinced we're stronger than Impey. So we, like, step in front of him, and we're like, this is your last warning, pirates. Like, get out of the way, or you're gonna be sorry. And then Impey's like, yeah, like, get out of the way. Like, it's over for you guys. But we are, like, armed with Victor's test tube. If you remember, that's, like, the only thing Victor's able to do is, like, throw test tubes on the ground, and, like, that's what he taught us. So we throw one down, there's, like, smoke, everyone's like, ah, and we're like, okay, Impey, like, let's run, like, let's get out of here, grab Nemo and go. But Impey's like, no. Like, I don't like the way these pirates threatened you. I'm gonna, like, teach them a lesson they won't forget. Like, okay. Impey just, like, demolishes them. Like, they don't stand a chance. He's, like, drop kicking them, like, slamming them down. And at one point, like, some of them grab us and, like, tear our shirt. Like, disgusting. And, like, they spot the horologium. Classic move. And Impey's like, no. Like, that's not gonna slide. And he's like, what the heck are you doing to my precious lady? This is when we get a beautiful CG. I wish I had printed it out for you guys. Like, you need to look it up. Of Impey just, like, karate kicking this guy into oblivion. He's, like, spinning, Team Rocket blasting off again. Like, he's out of here. If you remember from the first game, Impey is always doing these, like, superhuman feats of strength, and this is no different. Like, there were a lot of pirates there, and Impey has taken them all out on his own. And so we start to make connections, okay? We start to make connections how he was able to keep up a fight against Delacroix II. Remember him? How he was able to just, like, shield us from all these blasts. Like, he's taken gunshots. He took a blast from Van Helsing. He just destroyed all these soldiers. And we're like, what is something that has superhuman strength, is attractive, and has, like, a beautiful pointy-teethed smile? And we're like, Impey, are you a vampire? And he literally says, haha, I guess. Like, what do you mean you guess? Like, you are. He's like, yeah, I am a vampire. Like, isn't that crazy? Did you guys guess? I did not guess. But then, like, when I connected it with, like, his sharp teeth, I was like, my mind was blown. Anyway, he's a vampire. And he's like, yeah, I didn't want to hide it from you. I just, like, I didn't know how to bring it up to you. And, like, I didn't really want you to be scared of me. Like, are you scared of me? And we're like, are we scared of you? Like, Impey, we're the monster. Like, we're the one with poison. And then Impey just, like, laughs, like, here she goes again about being a monster. Like, she can never stop. And it's true, we can't. We have defeated the Sky Pirates. Not we. Impey did. And we take Nemo, and we all head back to his cave. Mission accomplished. We have gotten the pyramid thing back. All is well. And Nemo is like, you guys have to come in, like we can all chat and like I'll answer your questions because like you were here for something, right? And so we all enter his house, his cave. We think it's a cave, but when we enter, it's this crazy like metallic interior, almost like being inside of a giant ship, like a giant airship, but it's so like vast and big. There's no way a ship of this size would ever be able to lift off the ground. But it's like there's pipes everywhere, like flashing lights, like it's very industrial. So it's just like disguised as a cave, but it's actually this crazy like airship on the ground. And so we all sit down in this like sitting room in this insane house, and right off the bat we're like, okay Nemo, like do you know Isaac Beckford? He's like, do I know Isaac Beckford? Not only do I know him, but I am his like esteemed protege. We're like, oh my goodness. Well then like you must know about the homunculuses he was making. But we don't mention that we are the homunculus, okay? Because he doesn't know about the horologium. Like he doesn't know anything about us. Like we are just like a random friend of IMPEY'S for all he knows. So we like want to keep it that way. We keep it on the down low. And he's like, of course I do. Like Professor Isaac had this grand plan. And the grand plan was to take the horologium and refine it into a substance called the Philosopher's Stone. If you'll recall that from the first video. The Philosopher's Stone is this like all-powerful energy source that can do anything. And it's derived from the horologium. But nobody has been able to create it. It's like a legend. And he was like, yeah, so the first step in this plan to get the Philosopher's Stone was to make a homunculus to house the horologium. The homunculus would be like a biocatalyst to house this gem because a regular human would die, so we need to create, he calls us like a tool. He's like, he needed to create a tool to house the gem, like a soulless monster. He's saying all these things, and Impey's like getting really protected. He's like, can we not like use those words? Like, can we be a little more mindful with our word choices, Nemo? But we're like, no, it's okay. Like, but Nemo, do you know if there's any way to remove the poison caused by the horologium? And Nemo's like, well, like maybe, like I have one theory about it. And we're like, stop the presses, like tell us immediately. And I was thrilled. I was like, thank goodness there's a way, because I'm tired of not being able to touch anyone, let me tell you. And he's like, yeah, I'll tell you, but it's actually like such a long story. Like, let's just wait till the morning. Like, you guys can totally stay here overnight. Like, it's a big place. And we're like, we're tired and like we've been through a lot. We've just been called a tool and a soulless monster. So we're like, okay, that's fine. Like, we'll stay the night. So he fixes us up with like 2 rooms, but we really like, we miss Impey. And we're like, we want to go to Impey's room and like see what he's doing. So we head out into the hallways, and then suddenly like we hear Nemo's voice while we're on the way to IMPEY'S in the hallway. So we duck and we hide in a closet because like we don't know if we can trust Nemo, like we don't really know much about him. And we hear him talking, and he's like, I cannot believe that Professor Isaac's precious homunculus just like walked into my house of her own accord. So guys, like he knows that we have the horologium and we're the homunculus. And he's like, we hear him talking, and he's like, yeah, she was the one successful homunculus to house the gem. Like, I definitely saw the horologiums glow, like when I shot them with black smoke, like it's definitely her. And then he's like, now that we have the gem, we can proceed with the plan. What plan? Like, Nemo, like how could you betray us like this after we went to all that trouble to help you? Like, evil. And so we like peek out of the closet to see who he's talking to. It's a Twilight soldier. If you remember Twilight, headed by our little brother Phineas, evil secret society of the British government, kind of at odds right now with Queen Victoria and the British government, was also involved with Isaac, just bad all around. They've been hunting us from the beginning, and now they're working with Nemo, who has, like, betrayed us. And he's like, yeah, thanks Twilight so much for the funding. Like, I really appreciate it, because now, like, my research, I can start bringing in results. Like, now that we have the horologium, we're good to go. And so now we know, if you recall, Lupin's main goal in the first game is that he's trying to stop this international terrorist plot that Twilight, not Isaac, but I'm just gonna point to him, that Twilight has been creating. So now we know Nemo is involved with that as well. So straight away we're like, we gotta get to Impey. We managed to like sneak around Nemo and the Twilight Soldier. We show up to Impey's room and he's like joshing around. He's like, what are you doing here so late? Like, are you trying to make a move on me? Like, I knew this day would come. We're like, no, like, can you be serious for 1 second? And he's like, okay, yeah, like, you know what? I don't even care if my body melts away. Like, I will live up to your passion. We're like, Impey, seriously? Like Nemo's involved with Twilight. And he's like, oh, okay, so like we're being serious. Like, that's insane. We try to leave the room. Door is locked. We're locked in. And Impey's like, oh my gosh, like we're locked in a room together? Like, wait, that's like so crazy. And we're like, we don't even like, can he be serious, please? And so we hear Nemo's voice over like an intercom. And he's like, hey guys, how's it going? That's like how he talks. I've been really like sparing you guys from his voice, but that's how it is. It's even worse than that, actually. And he's like, hey, like I'm watching you from another room, and like I'm really sorry, but I need the horologium for my research, so like I will be imprisoning you guys in here. Sorry. And Impey's like, Nemo, you're not gonna like me when I'm angry, so you better let us right the hell out of here. And Nemo's like, okay, like show me your anger, King. Like, let's see it. And then he like floods the room with gas. He's like laughing like a crazy man. Just like a disaster. Like, how could we have gotten ourselves into a mess this big already? We've been out of Lupin's mansion for like less than a day, and this is already happening. Impey tries to help us and shield us, but it's no use. We both black out. And that is the sad, sad end to chapter 9. Okay, chapter 10. We awaken to the sound of heavy machinery. We're like groggy, we're coming out of the darkness. We're like, what in the world is going on? We look around, we're in some kind of basement warehouse situation. There's like metal boxes everywhere. We feel this like sharp pain in our horologium. We look down and like our horologium's out. Like, she's out. And not only is she out, there's like a piece of her that's been like carved out. Like someone has like chipped out a part of our horologium. And we're like, what in the world is going on here? Nothing like this has ever happened to us before. And Lupin's like, hey girl, like I can answer your question. Like, how are you doing? And right off the bat, we don't even ask about ourselves. We're like, what have you done with Impey? Like, where is he? Because we just like, that's where our priorities lie. And he's like, whoa, like chill, like don't even worry, like Impey is fine, like he's sleeping in his room. And like I would never hurt Impey because he's like too smart to die. So like don't, like you, I don't like give a care, but Impey, like trust, like I'm gonna keep him safe. And he's like, yeah, like sorry, like I captured you for the horologium. And like even a tiny piece of this thing has enough energy to like do unspeakable things. Like one piece of that thing and you can power whatever you want in the world. As if to like, I don't even know, like just to be weird, he like takes out a dagger and like tries to like chip at the horologium. We're like, whoa, like you can't just do that to someone. But like luckily the dagger like melts. And he's like, oh, like this is a sure sign like that the horologium is like on its way to becoming the Philosopher's Stone. Like if we just keep the faith, like it's gonna happen. Like you can see it's like burning everything away. And we're like, King, like it's been doing that our whole life, but okay. And he's like, yeah, I've actually already like used that piece of it to like, I've already put it into use and it's proven to like power incredible things. He doesn't really explain what he means by that, but basically he's like somehow chipped away a piece of this thing and like put it to use already, and it's like showing that it's powering stuff, like it's full of immense energy. And we like try to ask him more, but this guy's like gone off the deep end. He's like cackling, he's laughing like a mad scientist, and we're like, okay, like we gotta get out of here. So while he's distracted, like laughing it up, we managed to like take off our gloves and like burn away our restraints because we've been tied up. I don't know if I mentioned that. We're tied up in the basement. And like while we're burning off our restraints, he like notices at the last second and he's like, oh my gosh, like I forgot to poison proof the restraints. And we're like, sorry babe, and hit him with like a roundhouse kick, and take off down the hallway. And right away we see Twilight soldiers in the hall, but we manage to like hide and like sneak past a lot of them. But we're like halfway down the hall and we're like kind of getting lost. Like everything looks the same in this big like airship that's on the ground. Suddenly we feel another sharp pain. And so we like fall to the floor and it attracts the attentions of a few guards. And there's like a choice, you can hide or you can fight them. In this video, for the sake of the content, we will be going for the true happy ending. So the correct answer is to hide, and we hide behind a crate and we manage to avoid them. They don't find us. So we make it all the way to Impey's room and the door is like barred. Like we can't get to him, but we can speak to him through the bars. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, are you okay? Like, I was so worried. And we're like, okay, not enough time. Like, we're being tailed by soldiers. Like, this is very important. He's like, oh my gosh, like, I knew you would find me, like, for love. Like, did you do this for love, girl? Like, be honest and don't lie. And we're like, okay, yep, it was for love. Like, you know, we're kind of, like, playing along with him. Because one thing about Impey, like, he's been like this since the start. He's been expressing his love for us. And we, like, everyone just, like, that's how Impey is. Like, he's just a jokester and a flirt, whatever. Like, we don't really take him too seriously. And so we're like, yeah, like, it's for love, Impey. Like, clearly we care about him, but we're not really, like, at that point yet. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, I knew this day would come. Like, don't even worry. Like, when we get out of here, like, everything's gonna be great. We're gonna be in love. And, like, I'll have you know, like, I maintain the ladies just as well as I maintain the machines. And we're like, I wonder what he means by maintain. I just poked myself in the eye. I wonder what he means by maintain. Like, that's so interesting. Poor, sweet, innocent child. Stay gold. But we've had enough of this. Like, it's time to be serious, not time to joke around. So we try to melt the keyhole to Impey's door, but it's poison-proof. So I guess Nemo remembered to poison-proof that and then not the restraints. Like, kind of weird, but whatever. We're like, we don't know what to do. Like, we can't melt through this door. And Impey's like, just leave me and go. Make a run for it. And we're like, hell no. Hell no. And he's like, oh, I knew you would say that. Like, you're my dream girl. And suddenly, like, the Twilight soldiers spot us. And so Impey's like, okay, I need you to lure them over to the door. And we're like, that sounds like a bad idea, but we trust Impey. So we do it. We stand in front of the door and we're like, come at us. And so the soldiers come running. And right when they get in front of the door, there's a huge blast, as usual. And Impey has blasted it open with an explosion. And he blasts the guards along with it. And we're like, what the hell? Like, how'd you just do that? And he's like, oh yeah, I just made this steam gun, like, while I was trapped. How is that? Like, what is going on? He's like, yeah. I keep this portable neosteam engine. Guys, neosteam engine. Shout out to King Isaac, who created the neosteam engine. And that can accomplish everything in the world. He's like, yeah, I keep a portable one on me at all times. So, like, I just fashion this steam gun and, like, blast them out. And we're like, okay, works for us. So then he, like, pulls us toward him. We're like, oh my gosh, Impey. And he's like, thank you so much for coming to save me. It made me very happy. And I care about you a lot. And I'm glad that you did it all for love. We're, like, flustered. We're like, oh my gosh, like, no worries. And then he's like, yeah, but we need to get out of here so we can go on living our life in this journey of love. And so he's like, come at me, soldiers. And then, like, a million trillion soldiers, like, start running down the hall. So he's like, never mind, like, let's make a run for it. And he picks us up in his arms and he shoots off down the hallway. But we encounter a dead end. And the soldiers are cornering us. We're losing faith, like, we're stressed. And he's like, Cardia, if you love me, I can even fly. And he does a spin kick off the side of the wall, knocks a pipe down, steam explodes everywhere. No one can see what's going on. He picks us up again, makes a run for it. We manage to avoid all the guards, and we manage to come to this big set of doors, but it's like a really complicated, like, locking system. We can't figure out how to open them. And we're stressed. He's trying to figure it out, and then Nemo shows up with a bunch of guards. He's like, what are you guys doing? Like, leaving so soon? And Impey's like, no way. I'm not dealing with this right now. And so he does another roundhouse kick, blasts the door open, and we're ready to jump out onto land. But when that door opens, all we see is sky. All we see is... Just kidding. It's just like clouds. We're like, oh my gosh, we're in the sky right now. And Nemo is like, surprise! You guys know how this thing kind of looked like an airship that was on the ground? Well, it's in the sky now. This is my flying battleship called the Nautilus. Remember the Nautilus, guys? He's like, yeah, I only joined that airship race, the Black Gathering, to test out parts for the Nautilus. Like, this is my life's work, my magnum opus, and this is going to change the course of history. And like, we're cornered right now. We can't run, we can't fight. Like, basically our only option is to jump out this window, but like that will surely result in death. So we're like, we don't really know what's gonna happen right now. And he's like doing some quick little calculations in his mind. And he's like, Nemo, like, this ship is massive. The only thing that could lift up a behemoth of this size is the very object I've been looking for this entire time. And we come to the realization that Nemo is powering the Nautilus with an invention Impey made called the gravity alleviator, okay? And this is what he's been searching for the whole time. If you'll remember, Impey's main dream and goal in life is to get to the moon, and he created this invention in his youth, in his past, to achieve that goal. Basically, this is another like invention where I'm like, okay, like we're just saying random things now. But basically this gravity alleviator reduces the weight of an object to almost zero or something, somehow. So that's how this giant, massive airship is in the sky. And Nemo's like, oh my gosh, like, sorry, like, I didn't know this was yours. Like, and I didn't steal it. Somebody just like gave it to me. Like an organization gave it to me. I like take it to mean Twilight gave it to him. But he's like, oh my gosh, like if you're the one, Impey, who created that, you are like on par with my genius, because even I couldn't create something like that. So like, Impey, do you want to be my right-hand man? I am going to demonstrate the power of science to everybody on Earth. Everyone on Earth who laughed at me, who didn't believe me, that I was a genius and that science is the best thing in the world. Like, I'm going to take over the world. And when I do, like, I'll give you half the world, because you're basically, like, half of this shit. And Impey's like, okay, like, only if you give me the half with all the women on it. Like, ha ha ha. And we're like, not immediately. Like, Impey, why would you say that? Like, you only need one woman, and, like, she's standing right here. And he's like, lol, like, just kidding. But then he does some more calculations, and he's like, to power the gravity alleviator to reduce the weight of something this size, you would still need an insane amount of energy. And we remember what he told us before, and we're like, oh, yeah, actually he's using the piece of our heart, horologium, that he cut out of us. And this, like, Impey's not pleased. He's not pleased that Nemo would lay a finger on us. And he's, like, fiddling with, like, a watch or something. Like, there's something in his hand, and Nemo's, like, checking the time, like, got somewhere you need to be. And he, like, doesn't acknowledge that. And then Impey's like, seriously, though, Nemo? Like, point blank? This device was meant to go to the moon. It was not meant for violence, like, absolutely. Never meant for anything violent. And actually, like, I would rather die than help you in your insane endeavors. And I am gonna get my invention back one way or another, so watch out. And he's like, good luck, pal, like, okay. And then he's like, guards, like, capture them. And Impey's like, trust me. And he picks us up, and he jumps out the window, and we're like falling, like we're in his arms, another beautiful CG, and we're like, Impey, like, why would you do this? Like, we're gonna die. And my life obviously means nothing, like, I don't care at all. But you, like, you were gonna get to the moon, like, you have such a beautiful life ahead of you. Don't, like, it's fine if I die, but, like, you die, like, that's so sad to think about. And this is when, like, he starts to be really, like, sincere, and, like, a true, like, his true, sincere feelings come out, and he's like, no, you idiot. Like, it would be so sad if you die. Like, your life matters too. Do you believe in love at first sight? Because I fell in love with you the minute I saw you, and nobody takes me seriously on this, but, like, I know that it's true. And when you're sad, I'm 10,000 times sadder. So don't say that you don't care if you live or die, because that's just gonna make me 10,000 times sadder than you. And then he's like, remember that I said that if you love me, I can fly? Love and science are the same. Like, you never know until you try. Like, what wise words. Like, it was such a sweet moment, because I'm telling you, like, in all the other routes, you gotta, like, beg and plead and drag these guys around and follow them to the ends of the earth and, like, hear all their trauma before they ever, like, express stuff to you. And he's just, like, expressed it to you off the bat. Like, he's truly, like, the kindest soul. And we're like, wait, like, in the moment, like, we feel the urge to say it. And we're like, Impey, I love you. And he's like, I love you too. And so like we've just confessed our love to each other. We're falling to the ground. And then we see something in the distance. A black speck. And it's getting closer and closer. And you guys, you'll never believe what it is. If you remember from the first video, there's one friend who always shows up in times of trouble. That's right. It's the ornithopter. Guess who's driving that ornithopter? Lupin. Lupin rolls up in the ornithopter and he's like, oh my gosh, you guys, get in. He like unrolls the ladder. Impey grabs it in midair and Lupin reels us up and we're safe. We're all safe. We lived. And we're all together on the ornithopter. And it turns out, remember when I said Impey was fiddling with a little watch? It turns out that when we first left St. Germain's house, he left a tracking device with the note that he left for Lupin and co. And this tracking device, like you can't like talk to people on it, but you can send out an emergency signal. So when we were being like gassed in the room, like way back when, Impey sent out the emergency signal and he was watching Lupin like get to our location. So that's why he only jumped out the window when he saw that Lupin was close. And he was like, yeah, girl, like I knew, like, of course, like I didn't want us to die. We've got so much life ahead of us and like, we're gonna live it. And then he's like, also like, by the way, like I was just joshing when I said that like, I wanted the half with all the women. Like trust, like please, like I'm joking. And we're like, Impey, you're amazing. You are a true genius. Suddenly, we're hit with another harsh stabbing pain. This is something you will see many times. I feel like this chapter has all like the heavy hitters, like pain in the horologium, ornithopter, Impey like joshing her. It's like all the like tropes that will come back in every like scene. But anyway, we're hit with a big pain, a searing pain, and we black out. And that is the end of chapter 10. Hello and welcome to chapter 11. We awaken once more from being unconscious to our room in St. Germain's mansion. We're back home. And, you know, being back home means we're back with the boys. And so we're not alone in the room when we wake up. We are with Impey and Victor. Yay! So all-knowing Victor, you know, as we know from before, he is not really a doctor, but like somehow he's very experienced in all these medical situations. So he is kind of checking us out, trying to figure out what caused our blackout from earlier. And so he says, basically the reason we're feeling sick is because of that chip that's missing from our horologium. Because a piece of it is missing, it's like undergoing some sort of energy change. Like it's changing its properties, which like is probably what Nemo was talking about when he was like, oh, like it's well on its way to becoming the Philosopher's Stone. And then basically Victor is like, yeah, the reason you're feeling so much pain is because the poison is now working against your body. Like you used to be immune to it and it would just hurt other people, but now it's like hurting you. The only way to fix it is if we get back the missing piece, and if we like hold them close to each other, they'll just like naturally fuse back together. So like everything will be fine as long as we can get that missing piece back. And then he's like this is a massive development, guys. I can't overstate the importance of this moment. Victor is like, also, like, low-key, your poison might be gone. Like, I think I'll have to do some more testing, but, like, I think that because the properties are shifting, like, your poison is now gone from, like, your skin. And he's like, well, let me run some more tests, like, just in case. But then, suddenly, Impey, like, grabs our hand, and nothing happens. Like, we're holding hands. And we're like crying. Like this is the first human touch we've ever had. And it's with Impey. Like what could be better? And Victor's like, bro, like I said, I thought it was gone. Like I wasn't sure. And Impey's like, well, like then I should have been able to touch your hand. Like, so I did it. What a real man. Taking steps that some are too scared to do. It's beautiful to see. And he's like, no worries, okay? Because I need my gravity alleviator back. You need your piece of the horologium. We will get ourselves to the Nautilus and we will get them back. Don't you worry. So then we head down for dinner And everyone is there, okay? We have Saint Germain, Van is there, and also Delhi is there. And if you'll remember, Delhi was like just starting to warm up to us at the end of the common route. But now he's like one of the team, basically. He's still a little bit like wary of us humans, but he's in the gang now. I gotta put him with Van. So we tell the boys the full story, okay? We spill everything. And they all immediately start roasting Nemo. They're like, that guy sucks, that like lunatic. And they're like, no worries, girl. We're gonna save you at all costs, without a doubt. And of course we're like, no guys, like this is a personal problem. Like I don't want to put anyone in danger. Like I wouldn't ask you to do that. And they're like, girl, like it's literally not even a personal problem because this guy's in a giant battleship in the sky and he's gonna like bomb the whole city. So like it's not even about you, like it is, but also we're gonna save the world. So like stop griping, we're gonna help you. And then Impey tells us that the Nautilus can't fly without the gravity alleviator. So in this mission that we're gonna do to go and get back the horologium piece and the gravity alleviator, once we take that out of the ship, like the Nautilus is gonna go down. So like that also solves the problem of the Nautilus being in the sky. So it's like many birds with one stone. And then this part's so sad, guys. Like I actually was like so mad when I played this. But Impey is like, yeah, so like everything's gonna be like tied up nicely and like a happy future with me and Cardia awaits, guys. Like we're in love. And everyone's like, babe, like you have to be joking. Like stop messing around, Impey, like you do this all the time. There's no way you guys are together. Like stop with the jokes, stop like being in dreamland. And Impey's like, no, like we're in love. Like she said to me when we were falling in the sky that she loves me. Like isn't that right, Cardia? And we are an evil devil. We're like, oh, like we get really overwhelmed and we're like, yeah, like I did say that, but also like we were falling to our death. So like who knows, like maybe I just kind of was like in the moment. Boo! And then everyone's like, oh, okay, like that makes sense. Like, Impey, like, stop, like, being crazy. Like, obviously she just felt pressured and, like, there's no other reason she would have said she was in love with you, like, seriously, unless you were, like, blackmailing her. And then he's really sad. He's like, no, guys, like, why? Like, I seriously, like, we're in love. And no one believes them. Because of us. Anyway, like Impey is put out of his misery soon because the Nautilus passes by overhead and everyone like runs to the window and looks outside. Nemo like comes over the intercom and like all of London can hear him. And he's like, hey guys, I am about to become Lord of the Skies and rule the world and show you the power of science. And then he's like, let's play a little game of tag, okay? And we're like, tag? Like, this is so ominous and scary. And he's like, yeah, so I'm looking for this girl named Cardia, and she has this gem called the horologium. And people of London, like, I want you to find her and bring her to me. And if you do not bring her to me within 3 days' time, I'm gonna start bombing this place. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, this is actually so scary. And then he's like, let me show you what I mean, like, just in case you didn't understand that. And suddenly, like, a door opens on the side of the Nautilus and, like, a bomb falls out and bombs a part of the city. Like, he just starts blowing stuff up. Like, it's really scary. And Saint Germain is like, oh, that was, like, a really populated part of the city. Like, a bunch of people probably just died. So we decide, like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of Saint Germain's mansion. Like, we've been here a long time, and people are probably starting to, like, catch on that we live here and that like us particularly lives here and like we don't want to be turned into like that insane Nemo man. So we decide to go to one of Lupin's hideouts, apparently as a bunch like throughout the city, and we go to one in like the poor part of town, our favorite. And like as we're heading over there, the city's in like massive distress. I mean, like obviously it's just been bombed, but people are like whispering like, who's this girl? Like we like should turn her in, like if it's gonna like affect like our lives, and like hopefully the government is like putting like is like looking into this and like gonna help us out, but like they don't really trust them. Like it's just like a lot of chaos right now, and so we're feeling a lot of emotions, like this turmoil, like we're basically the cause of this, you know. And so we all go in, we're in Lupin's hideout, we're like discussing plans, and we're just like feeling really overwhelmed. So we're like, sorry guys, like I need to get outside and get some fresh air. And they're like, no girl, you can't go by yourself. So of course Impey is like, I will gladly like go with you, like the gentleman he is, even after we like snubbed him. Like what a kind soul. And so like we hear more people being upset about about this whole situation. We're like, like low-key, maybe we should turn ourselves in. Like we're a burden. Now we're a burden to the whole city of London. Like look at that. And Impey is like, girl, like think about this. Like put more than 1 second of thought into this. Even if you did turn yourself in, Nemo would then have access to the horologium. And like, who knows what havoc he could wreak like with that amount of energy on his side. So like it would be even worse if you turned yourself in. So like please be serious. And he's like, have faith in us. Like we've never failed before. Like it's gonna be fine. And we're like, Impey, like why are you being so kind to us? Like why are you doing this? And he's like, girl, I got 3 reasons. Number 1, I'm a gentleman. Number 2, you're gorgeous. And number 3, I love you. And in that moment, we're like, we feel that feeling again that we felt when we were like falling out of the ship. And we're like, wait, like we definitely feel something for this guy. Like we've read about love in books. Like we don't really know what it means to us just yet. But this feeling, like it definitely is like romantic towards Impey that we have. And then we start to head home from our like little break outside and we run into everybody else like randomly out there. And they're like, yeah, like we didn't really trust like leaving you alone with Impey, so we came out to help. And when we get back to the house, we had left Deli in charge. So Deli and Cece, oh my gosh, I have to put Cece out. The ugliest dog in the world. Love him. Anyway, Deli and Cece are like in charge of the house right now, which like that was a bad choice, but whatever. And when we get in, there's a familiar face sitting on our couch. And Lupin like loses his mind because it's Sholmes. Guys, after playing the Sholmes route, I love Sholmes. At first I thought he was like really annoying. Not anymore. Like I've been converted. I'm a Sholmes lover. So Sholmes is sitting on the couch. He's like, hey guys, like fancy seeing you here. Like what's up? And Deli is like, guys, like no need to thank me. I recognized your friend from when he came to our house earlier, if you remember that from the common route. And I took initiative and I let him in. So you guys are welcome. Like no need to thank me. And we're like, Deli, like what the hell's wrong with you? Like, that man is gonna turn us all in. And Lupin's like, Lupin hates Sholmes. And he's like, King, like, how did you find us? Like, we just moved. Like, we literally just, like, and he's like, yeah, well, I showed up to the mansion and you weren't there. And then I was like, where would be the most likely place? Like, one of Lupin's hideouts. And then, like, based on, like, proximity and, like, lots of factors, like, I was able to deduce this so quickly. Like, you're getting resty, Lupin, and, like, this was really easy to find you. And then he's like drinking tea, and he's like, would you like a cup of this cheap tea? Like, it's pretty good. And Lupin's like, King, that's my tea. Like, this is my house. I'm the owner of this house. And then Sholmes is like, by the way, like, there's other visitors showing up. And they'll be here. Oh, actually, they're here right now. Guys, it is Lenhart and the British soldiers. This chapter is like all of our old friends coming back. It's truly this was my Avengers. And Lenhart is like, oh, don't be crooked. Lenhart is like, guys, I'm arresting you. We're going to prison. And Sholmes is like, whoa, calm down. Like, we're not going to prison. Like, tell them the real reason you're here, Lenhart. And he's like, okay, guys, actually, like, Queen Victoria wanted me to come get you guys because she requested your presence at the palace. And, like, that's a direct order from the Queen, and we're not going to disobey that. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, we probably should go. Like, we've been ordered protection from her. Like, if you remember that whole thing with Victor and her, like, she has given us her protection and, like, immunity. So we're like, we probably should go see what she has to say, like, regardless. And then Sholmes is like, yeah, like, I was hired by the British government to find you guys. So I think you guys should go and see what's going on with Vicky Q. So we're like, okay, let's go. So we make our way over to the palace. We leave behind Deli and Cece because, like, what benefit would they give? On the way, Lenhart's like, yeah, she means you no harm. Like, I promise. Like, don't worry about it. This is for everyone's good. And so we're like, okay, like, might as well go. Then we enter the throne room. Who is sitting on the throne with the beautiful Victoria? Like, she's so stunning. Like, I wish that she was Queen of England right now, because then I would move there. I feel like my spacing this time has not been as optimized as it was before, but no matter. Anyway, Vicky Q is there. She's like, oh my gosh, hey Victor. Hey random girl from before. What's going on? We're like, hey, yep, hello. But Victor just like ignores her and like glares at her. And she's like, wow, not even a hello? Like, okay, Victor. Classic Victor. Guys, what am I gonna do when I get to Victor's route? Like, I'm really gonna need to find kindness in my heart. I'm actually really scared. And so she's like, hey guys, so I'm sure we all know about the giant Nautilus battleship in the sky right now. I'm sure we're all aware. And I also saw you, young girl, and Impey like fall out of that ship. So I know that you guys are involved, and I need to know everything you know about Nemo and this Nautilus, okay? Tell me right now. And so we tell her everything we know. We like give her the full story, but not really the full story because we don't want to be implicated in this. So we leave out that Impey's gravity alleviator is powering the ship, and we leave out that we are the girl with the horologium. And she's like, okay, yeah, Nemo used to be in the Royal Society. And if you remember the Royal Society, that's where Victor used to be a part of that. And also our father, Isaac Beckford, did as well. That's like the British government where she puts all the best scientists to like come up with new inventions and stuff. And anyway, Nemo was a part of that, but he got expelled because he was doing like insane and like unethical experiments. And they were like, babe, like you gotta go. You gotta get out of here. And he like disappeared right after that. So nobody has like known what he's been up to. I guess this is what he was been up to, clearly building a giant battleship to bomb the city. And so she's like, yeah, so like you guys really don't know anything about this girl with the horologium? Like really? And we're like, no, never heard of her. Like she sounds annoying. Like let's turn her in. Just kidding, we don't say that. And she's like, okay, well, like, let's put a pin in that and we'll get back to that later. But right now, we really do need to stop Nemo. We're gonna stop him. Together, we can all work together, use our brains, and we're gonna save Britain. Then suddenly, like, one of her soldiers rushes in. He's like, girl, open your window. Like, the Nautilus is blowing stuff up again. We're like, what? Like, we go to the window. He's bombing more cities. Like, settle down. And he's over the intercom again, and he's like, one day down, like, if you guys keep denying my wishes and not bring me the girl, I'm gonna keep blowing stuff up. So you better be on alert, and you better bring me that girl. And so Victoria is like, you know what, Lenhart, deploy the British Airborne Knights, and we're gonna put a stop to this man. And British Airborne Knights, they're like the part of the military that like fly in the sky and like shoot stuff down, okay? Like they're pretty powerful. And she's like, British Airborne Knights, shoot that thing down. I don't care what happens. Like, I don't care who dies. Shoot that damn thing to the ground. And so they do. She sends up all the British Airborne Knights, and Nemo and the Nautilus just like shoots them all down. Like they're like flies. Like they're meaningless. They do no damage on the giant Nautilus, and they all die. It's so sad. And then we cut to a scene like from Nemo's perspective. He's on the ship, like shooting them down, like laughing it up. And he's like kind of talking about Isaac a little bit. And we learn that apparently after he was expelled from the Royal Society, Isaac also like turned his back on him. So Nemo's really like been alone in this world, and he loved Isaac. Like Isaac was his mentor, like his like idol in the science world. And so he's like, Professor Isaac, like I'm doing this for you. Like I'm doing this to make you proud. And he's like screaming to the sky. He's like, look at me, Isaac, like send me a sign that this is what you want. Like please, like I'm gonna change the world for us. And of course there's no sign because he's crazy. And so that is where we end chapter 11, in like the depths of despair. So fingers crossed the next one is happier. Chapter 12. This, guys, is like one of my favorite chapters. I'm actually so excited. This one, you will see why I love Impey so much. Like, it will be revealed to you. But it is also like a very hefty, lore-heavy chapter. So let's just get into it. So it has now been, there's a little bit of a time jump. It's now been 2 days since the British Airborne Knights all died. And the city's just like in disarray. Queen Victoria has like sent out a statement being like, yeah, sorry guys, like that was a misjudgment on my part. Like, sorry all the British Airborne Knights died. And she decides to evacuate the whole city. So all the civilians leave like for their own safety, which like finally I feel like the government makes a good decision in this game. Like, let's get them out of here. But she's like, don't worry, I'm gonna bring down the Nautilus no matter the cost. And her first course of action, she tries to look into what's going on with Twilight, because we told her that Twilight was involved with Nemo and this whole plan. And Twilight just vanishes. They just like go into hiding somewhere and she can't find them. And so that's like a dead end. So all of us are staying at the palace to help with the plan to bring down the Nautilus because we know the most about it. Impey is like in charge, obviously, because he's a brilliant mind, and he knows the most about like Nemo and science and stuff. So he's like leading all these meetings, and we're all staying there. And basically the plan is that tomorrow it's going to be 3 days after Nemo had like given his order to like bring us in. So like it's the deadline for that. And so we're going to go out there and like be a decoy. And Victor and SG are gonna like be our guards somehow to like keep us safe, I guess. And then while that's happening, Impey, Lupin, and Van are gonna go into the Nautilus and try to like bring it down from the inside. Yeah, so that's the plan. Everyone's like busy preparing for it. Everyone's put to work, and we like are not. I guess we have no ideas to share for the plan. We're just gonna be a decoy. So we're like wandering around, and then we're like, where's Impey? Like we miss him, like we want to find him. So we're wandering around the hallways, like he's not in his room. There's like a big meeting going on. We're like, maybe he's in there. So we like wander outside to clear our head, and who do we see? Impey is walking away from the palace like by himself. So we call after him. We're like, hey, like Impey, like we missed you. Like what's going on? Where are you going? Like why aren't you at the meeting that's going on right now? And he's like, yeah, like we're kind of like at a standstill right now. We're kind of stuck in the plan. And so I just like decided to take a little walk to just like reset. And we're like, well, no worries. Like, can we come with you? And he's like, sure, sounds good to me. So we head off on a little stroll through the city. And so we're walking through the empty streets, and like everybody's gone. It's just us and the military and Vicky Q like left in the city. So it's like really eerie. And we pass a lot of like rubble from the bombings. Like it's really intense. It kind of takes a really like dark turn, honestly. Like it's very like eerie vibes. This whole chapter honestly takes like a really sad turn. And like we kind of stop by one of the piles of like debris and rubble. And Impey is like, I can't believe like my invention did this. Like I feel so horrible. And then he starts dropping these like insane like comments. He's like, yeah, all the corpses of like the people who got bombed and died like were in really bad condition. And like they can't find people to identify all the corpses because they were so like gnarly. And like they're gonna just cart them all away and like bury them in a mass grave. We're sitting there like, King, like way to bring the energy down. Like that is a little too intense for this lighthearted romance game. Like, no thank you. And Impey's like, I don't know, I just feel like if I never suggested like we find Nemo, like if I never like went to get his invention back, like none of this would have happened. And I just feel really bad. And we're like, finally we're the ones doing the comforting for once. And we're like, no, Impey, like we never could have anticipated this was gonna happen. And like we're partially at fault too. Like we were the ones who like helped you in that. And like we can't dwell in the past anymore. Like we just have to keep moving forward and like fix this, which like ironic coming from us who has never like left the past once, but okay. And he's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like honestly, I just can't really bring myself to be mad at Nemo. Like he just doesn't really have a lot of like anger in his heart. He's like, mostly I just feel really like regretful like with myself and like all the decisions I've made. And then he's like, by the way, like change of subject. He literally says that, and he's like, Deli knows I'm a vampire. We're like, whoa, really? Like that's crazy. And he's like, yeah, like actually Deli figured it out a long time ago, and he came up to me and he was like, hey, do you want to join my fight for like vengeance? Because if you remember, there's like a whole bunch of lore with the vampires. The government released this like gas weapon and like killed a bunch of the vampires, like massacred them all. And then Van Helsing was sent in to kill Deli's family. So there's a lot of like tension between the vampires and the government, like more than tension. Like there's no good positive relationship there at all. So Deli was like, Impey, do you want to fight, like join my fight for vengeance? And Impey was like, no, I don't. There's only one thing that's important to me, and that is going to the moon. It's my lifelong dream, and I need to see that through, and I don't want to waste time on violence and vengeance. Like, that's not productive. And then we're like, Impey, like, you're such an amazing person. Like, I want to know more about you. I want to know everything about you. Like, tell us your life story. Give us your lore drop in monologue form right now. And he's like, okay, sure. Like, it'll probably, like, be boring to you. Spoiler alert, like, it's not boring. It's actually crazy. But, like, I'll tell you if you do a little favor for me after. And we're like, okay, sure. And he's like, girl, you're so easy to convince. Like, you got to be careful out there. Like, men are wolves. And then he's like, haha, like, what if I was a werewolf? We're like, okay, like, we're already getting off track here. Like, let's get back to the story. So then we enter a monologue of Impey's life story, okay? Like, there's a lot of information. I will just sum it up as best I can. Basically, Impey grew up in the vampire village, obviously, but his parents died at like a really young age, so he was an orphan, and he got like shipped off to a bunch of relatives, but like nobody wanted him and like nobody would take him in. Like really sad. I don't know why. He's such an angel. So he had to like live in like a cabin by himself on the outskirts of town and like figure out how to like live on his own. Like, that's so sad. But anyway, that's what happened. And, like, he was really lonely. Like, the villagers would, like, give him food and stuff, but, like, no one really helped him out. But what made him feel less alone was the moon, and he would always, like, stare out his window at it. And, like, so it really has, like, a special place in his heart already. If you'll recall from the prologue, he told us this little story about how one day a train came to his village, and all of the kids, like, ran out to see the train, and that really, like, changed his worldview and made him want to become an engineer. So that happens. And then he's like, well, I'm gonna recreate this. Like, and he starts like getting into the engineering mindset, and he makes like a little train out of stone, like a little model. So that's kind of the beginning of his engineering journey. And then there is like another like kind of like Impey's kind of a weirdo in the town, and then there's one other weirdo in the town who's like this old man who's always like wandering around like rambling to himself. He's like, it's like Beauty and the Beast where like Belle is like the smart person who's like hated by the town. Like, that's this old guy. And Impey's like, whoa, like, better not get mixed up with that guy. Like, that's like the wrong path for me to take. But one day the old man's like passing by, and he sees like the little train, the little stone train Impey has made. And he's like, oh my gosh, is that a locomotive? And Impey's like, oh, like, I didn't know that was what it was called, but yeah, like, it's a train. And the old man is like, yeah, like, that's a pretty cool model, but like, it's not gonna run. But I can show you how to make one that does run. And Impey's like, amazing. So they end up like building a little train that's like able to move, and basically Impey and this old man kind of like develop this friendship, and the old man teaches him a lot about science and engineering, and they spend their days like pursuing their engineering dreams and creating their inventions. And this old man says that his life's dream has kind of been to give vampires a scientific like foothold on par with humans, because right now the vampires, like, they don't like science. They view it as like weird and like a threat. Like, they don't want anything to do with it. So this old man and Impey, like, they're kind of the odd ones out because of that. And the old man's like really sad, and Impey's like, no man, like, that's so cool, and like, I will help you in that, like, cheer up. And then the old man's like really moved by this, and he tells Impey that the way he's gonna achieve this is like his dream is to go to the moon. That's like his big scientific goal in life. And then Impey's like, oh my gosh, I love the moon. I'm with you. Like, let me take on this dream too. So like now they spend their days trying to build things to help them get to the moon. And one time they built like this little cannon that was gonna like shoot out, like, it's just practicing propulsion, I guess, for like how they're gonna get their thing to the moon. And there's this adorable picture of like a little baby Impey like lying on top of the cannon, and he has like written on the side, he wrote Cannon Club on the side of the cannon. Like, he's so adorable. And then the old man, like, he says one time, he's like, Impey, like, my life has been really hard, but like since I've met you, like, it's been a lot better, and like you've really changed my life. And we kind of get out of the monologue part. The way they do the monologue in the game is they like just put on this like sepia filter, and they just put a bunch of words. It's like reading an essay. It's a lot. But anyway, they leave that sort of form, and then Impey's like, yeah, like, he must have had a premonition that day that like he wouldn't be around for much longer. No. And then we're like, Impey, like, he died, right? Like, I don't know, like, it was kind of insensitive the way we put it, but we're like, is he dead? And then Impey's like, yeah, like, he died in the vampire war. And then he's like, goodbyes come so suddenly. Like, I thought that was such a sad line. Impey like drops so many good like sad one-liners in this scene, like, and it's so out of character for him, but like that's why it's so amazing that he's so like cheerful and like vibrant and has this like beautiful outlook on life. Anyway, we'll get into that more in like a second. Anyway, like if you remember, the government, the way they killed all the vampires was with like the gas weapon, and so Impey and the old man had been developing a prototype for the gravity alleviator, and they were going to test it. And so Impey was like out there waiting in like the forest to like test the gravity alleviator on the stone, but the old man never showed up. And so Impey, like, he knows something's wrong. He goes back to the village and everybody's dead from this gas that the government sent out. And Impey, like little baby Impey, has to like bury all these dead people. Like, how sad is that? And he goes to the old man's house and the old man is dead. He left the gravity alleviator prototype on the table, and then next to it he left a note that said, "I'll be waiting for you on the moon." And so, you know, after everyone's buried, like the survivors, there's only a few survivors of this attack, and they're like, hey, like some of the other vampires, it was actually Delhi's father, King Delacroix the First, is like organizing a rebellion and a revolt and a counterattack against the government, like, let's all join. And Impey was like, no, like, I don't think that science should be used for war. I don't think that we should be using violence. Like, I don't really want to be a part of that. And they're all like, okay, you traitor, like, whatever. And they all leave. And then he's alone again. And we are like taking this all in, and we say like, Impey, you must be like the kindest person in the whole entire world. And like, this is so inspiring to us. We're like, even though we feel that our life may not be like worth too much, like we want to spend it fighting and living and dreaming alongside Impey. And like, this is like the kind of like kind and beautiful spirit that we want to embody too. And Impey's like, well, I would love that. Like, I've already told you that I love you. And we're like, well, Impey, like, you are always like joking around and joshing around. And so like, we just didn't really know like if you really meant that. Like, obviously he did, but you know, like, we have a little trouble with emotions sometimes. And so we're like, we just like felt, you know, like maybe like that's what love was. Like, it was kind of like a more joking thing. Like, even like when Lupin rescued us on the ornithopter, Impey was like, I love you, Lupin. So we're like, you even said I love you to Lupin. Like, we just like didn't know. And then he like starts laughing. He's like, girl, like, are you jealous of Lupin? Like, that's crazy. Like, don't even worry, girl. Like, he's a guy. Like, you got nothing to worry about. And then we're like, well, if that bothers you, like, we're not even alive. Like, and then he's like, girl, like, you need to listen to me, and you need to like be serious now and listen to me. And this is when he delivers like the most beautiful, breathtaking speech like known to man, the best love declaration I've ever heard. He's like, when I first heard that you were a homunculus in the basement with Phineas, yeah, I was shocked, like, naturally. I didn't know such a thing was possible, but I also think it's amazing. We're like, what? Amazing? Like, what are you even talking about? And he's like, you are like a child of science. And since science is like the culmination of people's hopes and dreams, you are like made of 100% hopes and dreams. And he's like, you give me hope that like science can create beautiful things like you. Like, that is the whole reason I even got into science. And then we're like, you know, our usual spiel. But we don't have emotions. Like Nemo said we're a soulless monster. And Impey finally, like, he's kind of fed up. He's like, yes, you do. And who is Nemo to say you don't have emotions? Like, Nemo's a crazy man. And like, emotions is something that not even like science has figured out. Like, we don't know what really like an emotion is. We don't know who can define like who has emotions and who doesn't. And then he's like, and I see the results right in front of me. As a scientist, like, results are everything. And I see like how kind you are, how like amazing you are. And I know that like you have a heart that is just as beautiful as you are on the outside. And then we're like, I don't know, like, it's just hard to like see ourselves that way after all we've been through. And he's like, you know what? Like, if you can't believe yourself, then like believe me. And like, that's what love means. Like, I know you're amazing, and I know that you have a heart and emotions. So just trust me on that one. And then he's like, you know what, girl? Like, let me just propose to you right now. He's like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, living, hoping, dreaming. Like, will you join me? And we're like shocked. And he's like, yeah, like, there's a war tomorrow. I thought, no better time to ask than now. Like, who knows if we're going to be dead? So, like, what do you say? And we're like, okay, like, beautiful, beautiful speech, but, like, that is not how I want to be proposed to, with, like, you telling me we might die the next day. And he's like, okay, fair. And then he's like, you know what? Like, I'm done with talking. And he kisses us. It's beautiful. You know what? Like, half these routes, like, you don't even kiss. Like, spoiler. Like, this is giving us everything. This route. I'm treating you guys to the best one first, so we can remember the good times when we're stuck with some others. And then he's like, hey, so, like, about that favor you owe me, what do you say about going to the moon with me someday? And we're like, of course, like, we would love nothing more. And we just kind of sit there looking up at the moon and talking, taking the night in, and all of this information we've just learned. And we actually were like, you know, like, this gravity alleviator, if the Nautilus can't fly without it, like, I really wish it would just, like, break down. Like, you're too good of an inventor, Ambi. Like, I really wish this gravity alleviator would just malfunction. And then he's like, oh my gosh, like, you're a genius. I never thought about that. Like, you're so smart. And we're like, what? What did I say? You know, it's like one of those moments. And he's like, girl, get up. We're going back to SG's mansion. I need your help with something. There is now a way to bring down the Nautilus. And so, on that hopeful note, 100% hopeful and dreamful note, we go to our last chapter, chapter 13. Okay, welcome to the epic conclusion, chapter 13. I forgot, I was just going over my notes and I forgot, like, how literally crazy insane it is. If you remember anything from the train heist chapter in the previous video, you know that I struggle with recounting their convoluted plans whenever they go on an escapade. So let's just hope that this makes somewhat of sense to anyone listening. Okay, let's go. So we wake up in IMPEY'S workshop, which is in the backyard of St. Germain's house, which is where we were. If you remember, that's where we were headed. Obviously, you remember, it was 2 seconds ago. And we have a blanket around our shoulders. You know, we've dozed off because last night, all night, we were working to help IMPEY build a mysterious device. Okay, he hasn't told us what it will do yet, but we just know that it is key to the destruction of the Nautilus. IMPEY shows up with, like, coffee in hand, and he's like, no worries, girl, like, while you were sleeping, I finished it, and we're good to go. And he pulls out this, like, little cylindrical device that's, like, with red lights and stuff. It's, like, very sciencey looking. And then he tells us that, this device is gonna pinpoint a critical defect in the gravity alleviator that only he knows about. Nemo probably doesn't even know about this, so, like, this is going to be key to bringing down the Nautilus. So then we all gather at the palace. Queen Victoria is there. Leonhard is there. All of us are there, all the old favorites. And IMPEY has gathered everyone for a meeting. Because remember, today we were supposed to have our grand plan be put into place, but instead IMPEY has proposed a last-minute change to the plan. So everyone is a little bit scared of what he's gonna say. We're, like, standing around in the circle, and Victor, like, turns to us and he's like, hey girl, like, do you know anything about this plan? And we're like, no, not really, but like, we know that, like, whatever it is, like, we should just trust IMPEY, like, he knows what he's doing. And Victor's like, I don't know, like, I'm concerned. Like, okay, Victor, like, what have you been doing to help? Nothing. And Van Helsing, of all people, is like, no, I think we should trust IMPEY. Van Helsing, like, if you remember, like, really doesn't like IMPEY. He thinks he's, like, the stupidest person ever. But Van Helsing is like, IMPEY may be crazy and, like, a total idiot, but in terms of engineering, like, he's a genius, and we have to respect that. So thank you, Van, for standing up for him when some people just want to tear him down. And so IMPEY begins to speak, address the room. All of, like, the government VIPs and everyone is in there. He's like, yeah, so there's a critical defect in the gravity alleviator that affects its stability. And he's like, let's go over, like, our options here. Number 1, airship attack. We already tried that and all the British airborne knights died, so that's not going to work. Our current plan is to go in and destroy the gravity alleviator. We could do that, but Nemo's probably expecting that, so, like, that's, like, a little bit tricky. Additionally, we could try to destroy the power source, the horologium, but that has kind of the same risks as the previous plan. And then he's like, instead, I propose that with my new device, we will be able to disrupt the gravity alleviator and shoot the whole ship upwards into space instead of crashing it downwards and totally destroying the gravity alleviator. This device will like alter the field and like shoot it up into space somehow, I guess. So then he starts explaining this device. You guys, like, you would never know that I am a woman in STEM from the way I behave when I read this game. It's like taking a whole nother course in itself. But basically, the gravity alleviator like has some magnetic field that this new device will disrupt by emitting some kind of magnetic force. So there's 2 stages to this plan. Impey wants to shoot a special cannonball at the Nautilus, which will explode and somehow amplify the effects of the device. And then he has to go in person onto the Nautilus and like activate the little device, and press a button, and then like the plan will be set in motion. And so he says, Queen Victoria, in order for me to do this, like, I want you and the British forces to buy me some time. That's going to be key to like getting this plan to work. And she is very skeptical. She's like, you want the British forces to serve as like an opening act for your crazy plan? Like, I don't really know, Impey. Like, that's kind of far-fetched to me. And then we step forward in front of all of these government people and scientists. Like, we are very brave and we're like, no, you know what, girl? This is the best plan. Impey's plan is the only way to accomplish this. And here is why. Before, we were going to crash the ship down onto London. You're going to just totally demolish the city, even more than it's already demolished. You're going to demolish your palace. Like, we'll probably die. We're like in the line of fire. But this way, if we shoot it upward, we eliminate all that. Like, there's not going to be any damage, any debris, any lives lost. It'll just be lost to the stratosphere. Maybe it'll affect climate change, you know, like all those balloons do when you like let a balloon go up into the air, but whatever. Like, we don't really care about that. So this is the best way. And so Victoria's like, you know what? That's a fair point. Let's do it. And then she's like, Impey, like, if you pull this off, I'm going to make you a knight. I'm going to give you a title. And he's like, thank you, Queen Victoria, but actually I already have the title of knight already because I am Cardia's knight. And like, that's all I care about is to be her knight. So I actually don't want your title. She's like, okay, like, sure. And so then everyone leaves like to start setting the plan in motion, and Impey turns to us and he's like, thank you so much for sticking up for us, like, we are such a power couple. And we're like, but Impey, like, this is gonna make it so that you lose the gravity alleviator, and like, isn't that a memento from the old man? Like, isn't that like a real treasure to you? And he's like, yeah, but the old man has left me with other things, you know, like, he's given me the heart of an engineer, and that will always be with me, like, whether the gravity alleviator is here or not, and I can always build a new gravity alleviator, so it's no worries. But unfortunately, we've kind of been neglecting the horologium that's slowly killing us, and so we feel like another sharp pain. And what do we do when we feel the sharp pain? We black out. We wake up in our room in the palace, and Victor and Impey are with us again, the usual suspects. And Victor breaks the hard news that he's like, girl, the horologium is like transitioning super fast, and pretty soon it's just going to be an inert stone. So like, it's not even going to be the Philosopher's Stone, it's just going to be like a dead jewel. And because it is our heart, like, we will die if that happens. And he's like, TBH, girl, like, you might not even make it through the night. Like, yeah, it's getting serious. And so Impey is like, no, like, let's not have any of this negative energy, Victor. Cardia, I want you to come on board the Nautilus with me. That way I can grab the horologium and like stick it in your chest, like, stat. Because it would take too long for me to fly all the way back down to the ground, and like, you might not even have like a few more hours, like, who even knows? So we're like, okay, we're gonna go on board together. Now we cut back to Nemo being crazy on board the Nautilus once again, and we get a little bit more of his lore. It's actually like really like kind of disturbing. Like, he was a member of a royal family of some country that was like colonized by Britain, like very dark. And so he like lost his royal title, and like it kind of like all the violence he witnessed kind of like made him a little crazy. And so he was like basically forced out of his home, and he decided to go to Britain and like join the Royal Society so he could learn more about science. But obviously like he was a little too crazy like with the insane experiments he was doing, because he kind of had the mindset, he was like, if you guys like trampled over my family and my country with science, then like surely I have the right to like trample over others with it. which is kind of like why he is so radical with his ideas. But yeah, he was basically driven out of his home a second time when he was kicked out of the Royal Society, and then Isaac abandoned him. So basically that's his motivation for doing this. He's like, I'm gonna build a new world. He thinks it's kind of like a test that Isaac has like given him. Like Isaac has abandoned him to make him stronger. That's like the delusion he's living in. And so he's like, I'm gonna build this new world and I'm gonna pass this test, Isaac. And while he's like rambling and laughing and being insane, like one of his crew members, I guess he has a crew on there. I don't know who he convinced to do that, but maybe it's a Twilight soldier. I don't know. But they come in to warn him and they're like, hey, like we have spotted the girl. She and Queen Victoria are standing in the grounds of Buckingham Palace and they're like calling us over. And he's like, okay, sick. Like, well, let's bring the Nautilus around. So he brings the Nautilus, pilots it over Buckingham Palace, and we cut to Queen Victoria. She's standing on the grounds with one of her handmaidens who is dressed as us, but it's not actually us. We got some poor innocent like civilian to take the fall. So Nemo's like, okay, I'm gonna send down like a little vessel to come like pick her up. And like while he's doing that, he's like, by the way, like using a double is not gonna work because we have a horologian detector. So like just in case you were thinking of like doing something silly like that, like it's not gonna work. And Victoria is like, okay, guess like the game is up, like fire. If you remember, Steel London is encased in these like giant outer walls that they like come into play a few times in like various routes. Anyway, there's a bunch of like big guns on the side, normally to like shoot people outside London, but this time we've like turned them inside and they all start firing on Nemo and the Nautilus. And so because the Nautilus is like a little bit lower to the ground in order to like be over Buckingham Palace, Nemo can't start bombing them because the bombs are so powerful that they would like hit the Nautilus as well. So he can't do that. So instead he uses the guns. The Nautilus has guns on it to like shoot up the outer walls and like destroy the guns. But if you recall, the main like part of Impey's plan was to shoot his own special cannonball up there. So that must have been mixed into the other gunfire, because then one of the British soldiers comes up to tell Victoria and he's like, no worries, girl. The cannonball has made it onto the ship. So our ruse worked. And then other airships like start to rise up to join the fight. Like I feel like these are people essentially like sacrificing their lives, but whatever. Like a bunch of airships start shooting at the Nautilus. It's like a full out attack. And Victoria is like, yes, like feel the might of Britain. Like you will see. Which like kind of is like ominous considering like what we just learned about Nemo. Anyway, us and Impey are in the forest about to board our own airship, which will take us up to the Nautilus. And we're there with the whole crew because they're coming with us, thank goodness. But Deli's not, he's just there randomly, I guess, to say goodbye. He comes over to Impey and he's like, you know what, guys, like I really think you should bring me with you because like you two are like way too kind and like softies and like you're not gonna have like the balls to kill this guy. And Impey's like, no, Deli, like, we're just trying to stop him. We're not trying to kill anybody. Like, we're not all, like, bloodthirsty, like some of us. And Deli is like, okay, you know what? Like, I respect it. Keep walking your own path, and, like, I want you to live because there's still more that I want to tell you. And then he walks off, so hopefully someday we find out what he wanted to tell us. Who knows? And then we have, like, a romantic moment. We're like, promise, like, once we get back, like, you'll never leave our side and be like, we love you and like we're gonna make it through this. And then Impey's like, no, I can't promise that. And we're like, what? And then he's like, because I'm never gonna leave your side from right now. Like, don't even worry, girl, like we're gonna be together forever. And Lupin's like, can you guys wrap it up? Like, it's time to go. Like, you can do this later. And so then we board the airship and it's really sweet because it's very reminiscent of the Black Gathering. If you guys remember, we all had our own little jobs during that race. And so the jobs are the same. And he's going to be piloting the ship. We are like his little assistant controlling the altitude levels. Van Helsing is dealing with like the like fuel and the weight or something. I don't really know what he does. And Lupin is the lookout, I guess, like navigation, something like that. And then these two fools are in the engine room. So here's where like it gets a little crazy. I'm just gonna like do the best I can, but we take off in the airship, we rise above, and because there's so many other airships in the sky, like we kind of remain undetected for a little bit, but then we do get shot out a shot at. And so Impey like rapidly ascends upward and we like kind of hide out in a cloud, but like we've taken on some damage. We keep getting shot at up there and then we actually end up like losing an engine. Like we take like a really hard hit. And so we're all kind of like in panic and we're like, we could give up and like go back down, but like this is like honestly our last chance. Like Nautilus is gonna destroy all these people. We're gonna have nobody left to fight. We can't pull off the cannon stunt again. And also like we're gonna die. So this is our absolute last chance and we need to make it to the Nautilus no matter what. And so Impey like decides to do just some insane plan. Everyone's like not really like trusting him, but they're like, you know what, like there's no better option, so we have to do it. And Saint Germain is like, let me just like pray to heaven real quick that they let us in, guys, don't worry. And so Impey decides to just drive the ship straight ahead to the Nautilus, like just full throttle, last resort. And he's like, Lupin, take the wheel. Lupin's like, I did not sign up for this, but he takes the wheel, keeps driving forward, and then Impey and us go out to the deck. Basically, our last resort is to just like jump off the deck towards the Nautilus. Like, I mean, we've done it before. Like, it'll probably be fine. Probably. And so Lupin manages to he just keeps driving it forward and pilots us right above the Nautilus. And Impey is like, remember what I said, girl? With your love, I can fly. And then he picks us up, jumps off the side of the deck, and kicks open a window. And we make it inside. It's very beautiful. So we're inside the Nautilus, we made it in, and Impey pulls out the device and presses the button, and nothing happens. It's like very anticlimactic. We're like, was that supposed to happen? He's like, no. And instead, like we hear some emergency signal go off, and suddenly we're like swarmed by Twilight soldiers. So we have to run. We're taking off down the hallway, and we're like crashing out. Like we're really not doing well. We're like feeling a lot of pain. We're like stumbling down the hall, like it's not a good look for us. And Impey is like, okay, I guess this device failed, but like whatever, let's go to plan B. We need to destroy the gravity alleviator ourselves then, and like we'll just crash the ship on London, like whatever, like it has to be done. So finally we run away from the Twilight soldiers and we end up in this huge room. It's like a huge dome-like room, and in the center is this massive device, okay? This device is basically like powering the whole ship, and we know that because in the very middle of it, we see the shard of the horologium that's been taken from us, okay? And then Nemo shows up into the room. He's like, hey, I am actually not gonna let you guys just destroy this, like, sorry. And he's like, yeah, and be like, you're a smart guy. I kind of thought, like, you would catch on to the weakness in the gravity alleviator, and, like, by the way, I do know about that, like, I'm not dumb. And so, yeah, I put a magnetic shield up around this device. Sorry, so your little device isn't gonna work, probably. And he's like, I'm gonna give you one chance to surrender, so, like, are you down to surrender, or what? What's the vibe? And we step forward, and we're like, Impey, I'll buy us time. Go destroy the gravity alleviator. Like, I'll fight off these like 100 Twilight guards that Nemo brought in. And Impey's like, girl, we've been through this. Like, love that you're like here to protect me, but like I'm the vampire girl. Like, I can do this. And Nemo's like, you guys are actually stupid. Like, I have like 100 soldiers, but like whatever, like go ahead and try. And then Nemo is like, Impey, like your circumstances are so similar to mine. Like, we both were like oppressed, like, and we experienced all this adversity and like had our people like killed with violence. Like, why don't you understand me? And why don't you understand like what I'm fighting for? And Impey is like, no, Nemo, we're different, because I have never been alone. I had the old man, I have my friends, and most importantly, I have the woman I love. And then Nemo is like, yeah, well, then we're very different. Because you know what? To be a true genius, you have to be alone. So Impey, you must just be like some mediocre guy then. You're not the genius I thought you were. And Impey's like, then I guess you're gonna lose to a mediocre man. And he pulls out the device again. This is another thing I don't understand. But anyway, he pushes the button, and this time it does work. The ship starts like shaking. And Impey's like, basically, this thing, it wasn't even the device. The device was the cannonball that I shot up here, and it's scattered across the ship. So now when I hit the switch, like somehow like the effect is multiplied, and like now it's actually it's affecting the gravity alleviator field. Don't ask me why it didn't work before. I actually do not understand that, but somehow it's working now. Yay! So the Nautilus is now like beginning to rapidly ascend, which is what we wanted. Great. And then Impey goes full out, takes out the Twilight Soldiers, goes crazy, and he manages to like take down most of them. There's still a few remaining though. And Nemo is like going insane. He cannot believe that he's been thwarted in this way. And so he's like, soldiers, we need to shoot them down. Because before, the Twilight Soldiers were just fighting with their swords because they didn't want any gunfire to accidentally hit the device in the center of the room. But now Nemo is like, I don't even care. Like, shoot down the device for all I care, as long as you like gun down those two. And like Impey rushes towards them. Like Nemo is like, no, target the girl with the horologium. Like she's like weak. And so they shoot at us, but Impey blocks it and he gets shot and he goes down. Like Impey's been shot. Like who else is scared? And then Nemo takes advantage of this. Like while Impey's down, he grabs us and he's like, you know what, like, I don't care as long as I have the horologium. And then we manage to break free. And we're like, we don't care, Nemo. Like, we'll destroy the horologium here and now, like, for all I care. And Nemo's like, go ahead and do it then, because if I can't have the horologium, I sure as hell don't want anyone else to be able to have it. We're at a standstill. We're, like, about to destroy it. And then suddenly, Impey comes back to his feet. Surprise, the whole time he was wearing a bulletproof vest that Lupin gave him, guys. Like, never count out Impey. So Impey is like, Nemo, science is not a weapon. You are a sick man. Like, I can't believe you would do this. And Nemo, like, pulls us in front of him, like, as a human shield. And then Impey's like, get your hands off her. And he goes crazy. And he, like, runs at Nemo, but then Nemo's like, surprise, I've been hiding a bomb this whole time. And he, like, pulls out a bomb and throws it at Impey. Somehow Impey survives the bomb and, like, comes back and attacks Nemo. It's just, like, chaos in the ship right now. And he manages to, like, take out Nemo. Nemo's on the floor. He's not dead, but he's, like, incapacitated. And then Impey is like, girl, we gotta get this horologium because we're, like, fully, like, we can't even move right now. We're, like, lying on the floor. And so Impey reaches into this device and he's like reaching in, trying to grab the horologium gem, and it's like burning his hand because you know the horologium is poison and burns things that come near it. And so his hand is like burning up, but he doesn't care. Like he's doing this for us. And he grabs the gem and he pulls it out, and we are like crawling across the floor to him because we can like barely move. We're like, Impey, and he's like, here's a present for you, and puts it back. And we are suddenly saved. It fuses back into the gem. It comes to life once again, and we feel right as rain. All is well. Except all is not well, because Nemo has somehow gotten up from the brink of death, and he's like stumbling over to us, and he's like, haha, like science will never lose. And he sets the Nautilus to self-destruct. Somehow he has able to do that. I don't really know how that happened, but it did. And he's like laughing. He's like, ha 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 ha. Like now the Nautilus is beginning to descend, and he's like, it's gonna descend right on top of Buckingham Palace. It's gonna kill your queen. It's gonna kill your friends. It's gonna kill the government. This is my final like victory. And he's like laughing, and then he gets killed by a piece of debris that like falls on his head and kills him. And it's like really disturbing. They have like a CG of him, and he's like, he looked at the piece of falling debris like as if it was like salvation. Like it's scary, guys. Like I'm scared right now. And so like Nemo is gone and the soldiers are gone, but now like the Nautilus is crashing down. And so Impey is like, the only way to save everybody is to pilot the Nautilus away somewhere else. I'm gonna do that. So Cardia, you need to run. The Nautilus has an escape pod, and you need to get on board it and go back to London while you still can. And we're like, wait a second, Impey, like there's something you're not telling us, and like we're not crazy, and like this plan is gonna get you killed. And he's like, yeah, you're actually right about that. Like in order to successfully pilot the Nautilus away, we have to put it onto manual control. And in order to do that, someone's gotta go down with the ship. And so he's planning to pilot the ship to some like field of grass and like crash both it and himself, sacrificing himself for London. And we're like, Impey, no. There is no living if it's not with you. We will crash land with you. We're not leaving you. And he's like, you know what, girl? I think there might be another way for us both to live, okay? No need for sacrifices. Our last hope is if we can crash this big thing into the Thames River. And so he switches to manual control. We're both like at the control panel. And he's like, okay, when we come into view of the river, we need to pull on the emergency brake. And so we're like holding on to him. We come in view of the river and suddenly we see the tower bridge. We're like gonna run smack into the tower bridge. And he's like, okay, pull the lever. And we're like pulling the emergency brake like with all our might. And at the last minute, we managed to land in the river. We survived! Yay! It's actually very intense and like a fast-paced, intense conflict. Like I was on the edge of my seat. I'm sure you were too with my amazing retelling of the fight. Everyone take a breath. Like we survived. We step out onto the deck. We're like on the river. We're like on a nice little boat cruise now. The sun is setting, like everything is bathed in a beautiful golden light. Life is worth the living. And we confess our love to each other. We're surprised that we made it out of there. We say all these sweet things that we've been saying. We love each other so much. And then Impey like tries to like, you know, put his arm around us and we're like, Impey, no, like the horologium's fixed, like our poison's gonna be coming back at any minute. And then Impey's like, then I gotta do this while I still can. He kisses us. It's very beautiful. With that, you know, this whole terrible Nautilus incident, you know, it really like ruined many days of life for London. It was really a terrifying time. But the sun is setting, and with it, this Nautilus incident is coming to a close and a new morning is dawning. A new morning representing a beautiful future for us and Impey for the rest of our lives. And that is the end of chapter 13. And they roll the credits, but you know, if you have played one of these games before, you know that you got to stick around till the end of the credits because there's an extra scene at the end if you were very good. And this, of course, is the good ending. I didn't go over any of the bad endings because I didn't actually play through them. I'm the kind of girl who looks up a walkthrough because I can't use my own mind. And I refuse to get any of the bad endings. And so after the credits, we're treated to a little extra scene. We are roaming around the halls of SG's mansion looking for Impey. We come into the living room to find Cece, so it's just us and Cece in the house right now. And it's revealed that it's been a year since the Nautilus accident, okay, and London has been completely rebuilt, but you know, everyone in our little crew has gone on their separate ways. Saint Germain was the first to leave. He went off to France and he was like, I'm not gonna be coming back for a while, so like Cardi and Impey, you guys can just stay in my house, like take care of it, take care of Cece. And so we're like, okay, like a free house, sounds good to us. Then Van Helsing and Deli left. They are on a mission to find the remaining vampires and to kind of work things out between them and the government so that there can be a safe place for all vampires to live together in harmony with the humans. And Van is helping out Deli. You know, they have a complicated relationship, but he's doing so, you know, as penance for killing Deli's family. And Deli seems to have really like chilled out and they have like sort of a bond now, so that's very beautiful. Victor has started a clinic in the poor area, so that was pretty nice of him, I guess, even though he's not a doctor, so I don't really know how he's able to keep that practice running, but I guess they don't really care in the poor part of town. Lupin is still in town trying to figure out what is going on with this terrorist attack. Okay, like clearly Nemo had something to do with it and he had that connection to Twilight, but now Twilight is missing and we never found out what happened, why Nemo was connected to Twilight, because as far as we know, Nemo was just some crazy guy who like built his ship up in the air and like shot a bunch of people. Like, we don't know. That's something we may have to wait until the true route of this game to discover. And he's actually like working with Sholmes to figure out this mystery, which everyone is like shocked about that they're working together, but I think that's super cute. We eventually find Impey outside in his workshop tinkering away, and it's actually like there's smoke everywhere. We're like, Impey, you've got to be more careful with these experiments. He's like joshing around. He's like, oh my gosh, an angel. Like, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. Like, you know, his usual rapport. And he's actually been tinkering around with a little cannon. You know, if you remember the Cannon Club from his past, it's definitely like that. It's to help with the journey to the moon. And he's like, you know what? Let's do a little test launch, just the two of us. And let's shoot our cannon together. So we set out under the stars, he sets up the cannon, and on the count of 3, we set it off together, and the little projectile goes all the way, we see it up in the air, shooting up all the way to the moon, and with it carrying our dreams of a moon voyage all the way up to the stars. And after the launch, Impey is like, hey, so about that proposal, it's been a year. I want to stay with you for the rest of my life. I love you. And girl, will you marry me? And we're like, hell yes, Impey. Thought you'd never ask. So we're getting married, and there is some challenges that we face, Mainly is that the poison is back, okay? So we can't even touch each other. And I'm not gonna lie, when I got to that ending, I was a little disheartened, okay? Because this was the first route I had played. And so I was like, we really went through all of that just for my poison not even to be cured, and we can't even touch each other, and we're about to get married. But then, I played some of the other routes, and I'm like, that actually wasn't that bad. Who was I to complain? It could have been way worse. So yeah, that brings us to the end of Impey's route. Yay! I hope you enjoyed. I forgot how much I love Impey. I literally, I feel like I've been on such a journey with this game now that I'm all the way onto the 3rd one. And consistently, Impey's route is always the best. And you never expect it because in the common route and other people's routes, it's just people dumping on Impey and roasting him. And you forget that he's just honestly the best love interest. I won't even apologize for saying that. Everyone else is great, but no one I feel meshes as well as Cardia and Impey do. I really just have such a special place in my heart for him. And he has the best CGs. Guys, just wait till the second game. You're gonna be blown away by the things you see. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I always love making these. And again, even if only myself is the only one who watches, I know I enjoyed it, so I made my one viewer happy. Yeah, next I think I will do, next I played through Vans, so I think I'll do Vans. That's probably good that we did this one first, because it's definitely, I know it seemed like it was crazy, lore heavy, and insane. And if you think this is insane and lore heavy, just wait. Lupin's is they kind of build on each other. Aspects of each route are all combined in the final route, so you just have this insane intricate web of lore in the last one that you have to keep track of. So yeah, we'll see some of these things again. We'll definitely see Nemo again. We'll see the Nautilus again. Of course, all of our friends will be there again. So yeah, we definitely won't be having as happy and joyous of a time in Van Helsing's route, but sometimes it's good to have balance in life. And we must romance everyone. We must not rest until we do. So it's important that we see it through. And as always, thank you for watching. And I will see you next time for Slaying Our Demons with Van Helsing.